Jordan Isaka on your left against your bro, Michael Wallio and Grixis Delver. Looks like Jordan's up a game already, and they're moving on to game 2.
I believe this is Grixis Ninja.
Oh, Grixis Ninja. Okay, we have to change this then. So this is the evolution of the... If our viewers watch every week, they would have seen...
Ninja Still.
Ninja Still. And that was from 6 or 7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He was on camera at the end of round 4 with Ninja Still in our Legacy stream, and he was triumphant. I mean, he did play against an As Foretold deck, I believe.
I'm not sure if it was Black Vice and the one where that punishes you for having cards greater than 4 and cards less than 3.
It's a sort of Black Vice deck then? I didn't remember. Anyway, so what's the basic idea? We all are familiar with Jordan's blue, white, red Bladestill deck. White border, there it is in all its glory. And
those were originally black border duels.
What is the concept behind Michael's Grixis Ninja deck, and why would he play this over a Grixis Delver deck, for example?
A lot of this is about getting value. So most of the time, Snapcaster and Spellstutter Sprite are one-shot cards. They hit the table, and when they leave the table, they normally go to the graveyard. So with the ninjas, you're able to get extra value out of them. So if you bolt your opponent, you can play your Snapcaster Mage, bolt them again, attack with Snapcaster Mage, ninjutsu it out for Ninja of the Deep Hours, still hit for 2, get your card draw, and have Snapcaster ready to bring back something else.
Wow, ultimate value town.
A lot of fun with Diabolic Edicts and Fatal Pushes. Your opponent will hate you. Especially, what is it? You have Spellstutter Sprite to like have the flyer too. So.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing this match. Petrunkin Fat, thanks for pointing out. Yeah, Stoneforge Mystic, of course, a type of tutor, and card advantage in Death and Taxes, as is Sword of Fire and Ice.
And white borders.
Sword of Fire and Ice a little less common to get for the draw, but that does happen.
It's really good.
It's a staple in the deck, but you don't always get the draw. The threat of it is intimidating enough. Both of our players shuffling up here. So, Miles, being a top 8 competitor, tournament points leader, you have clearly exhibited the chops you have in Legacy. Michael, also top 8 competitor, tournament points leader. Is it fun to always have a testing partner?
Yes and no. So, our favorite decks are very opposite of each other. So the 2 decks I like to play are Elves and Enchantress.
Okay.
And his decks are like Burn and this Grixis Ninja deck. So Enchantress shuts off both of those decks. But Elves get shuts off by both of these decks.
So not a great matchup meta between the 2 of you.
But we own a bunch of other decks, so we'll play test those.
Yeah.
So both players are just staring each other down.
There's a Grim Lavamancer from Jordan. Michael says that's alright. End of turn, Lightning Bolt gets Spell Pierced. And that's going to get Pyroblasted. And down goes the Grim Lavamancer after that pair of counterspells. Oh, excuse me. Michael did not have the requisite colored mana for the follow-up Pyroblast. So we're going to rewind, and it's going to be a Brainstorm instead.
It's one of the problems from switching from a monocolor deck to a multicolor deck. Things no longer tap for red.
Brainstorm resolved, and Michael didn't find the answer for the Spell Pierce, so Grim Lavamancer will live on, but Michael did find a Fatal Push. There goes the Grim Lavamancer. Brainstorm, the follow-up from Michael during the main phase. Jordan says that's alright. Jordan, a little threat light, does have a Spellstutter Sprite, though. Michael, with the fetch land shuffle effect available after this brainstorm,
Put back a Fatal Push. I'm not sure if you want to fetch immediately.
sort of Fire and Ice the play from Jordan, tapping out for it. Michael says it's alright. Michael also looking a little threat-like here. His deck is kind of built around having these creatures in play and attacking. Is this problematic for him at this stage of the game, or is this okay? Oh, there's a Baleful Strix.
I think it's slightly problematic. So, a lot of the cards in his hand are responsive, but I'm not sure how well they respond to what Jordan has already established on the board. Having the Mishra's Factory gets around Fatal Push, I think. Or can you Fatal Push a Mishra's Factory?
It's a great question. I think you can. Target creature has converted mana cost 2 or less. And
okay.
So that will destroy the factory.
But the question is, do you activate Factory and equip the swords? How aggressive are you in this play?
Jordan's going to activate this Mishra's Factory and attach the sword. Michael has a response, though. And there's the Fatal Push. Down goes Mishra's Factory. Jordan had the Force of Will and Spellstutter Sprite in hand, but happy probably to get that removal out of Michael's hand.
Is that an engineered explosive?
It is.
Oh.
Michael found it from that brainstorm. Pyroblast in hand, as well as that engineered explosives. So this is probably going to be Jace the Mind Sculptor. Brainstorm. I think I saw Ninja of the Deep Hours in there. So we'll bring that card up.
So that Baleful Strix might have some extra value here shortly.
Not a common card for folks at home to see, but there it is, Ninja of the Deep Hours. The namesake, I'd say. Was this the first card that made Michael excited about the ninja theme and then went deep on it?
Was that a pun? Yes. So, it's a staple in Pauper. So, Mono Blue Delver plays it to get more value out of their Spellstutter sprites. And it just generates a lot of value. So.
And there it is. Value Town. Return my Baleful Strix. I'll get a draw from the ninja. It's a loot, is that right, from the ninja? Or just a straight up draw?
Straight up draw, I think.
Okay. Classic Ophidian style. And there's a Baleful Strix. I'll take another draw. Fate Seal, Jordan, that's gonna get bottomed, and Jordan's gonna shuffle. Oh, so you didn't want me to have a click, huh? There's a Spellstutter Sprite at end of turn, that's gonna get met by a Pyroblast. Follow-up Spellstutter Sprite. Double Spellstutter Sprite for Jordan, and despite Michael having this Jason play, it feels like Jordan is ahead.
Yeah.
And this could be the... Oh, it's going to be attacking Michael. 2 damage to your ninja. I'll take a draw.
Snapcaster Mage with the white border. I'm not sure if Michael has any creatures in the deck that can block a Sword of Fire and Ice.
Problematic card for the Grixis Ninja deck. Two cards for Jordan, Force and Snapcaster. Yeah, can Michael just never beat the card Sword of Fire and Ice? I guess that Engineer Explosives, perhaps?
Engineered Explosives would be good. Fatal Push on the Spell Starter Sprite. It's just protection from...
A Spell Stutter Sprite from Michael. Thoughtseize will be the first play. Force or Snapcaster are the choices.
I feel like looking at the graveyard, Snapcaster is probably the bigger threat right now.
Michael chooses Snapcaster.
Yeah, with Swords of Plowshares and a bunch of other, like Spell Pierce and all that other stuff, you don't want that coming back to bite you.
Michael's going to fetch.
Are you going to do the Pauper Curve in games?
If you're tuning in just now, we are watching round 2 out of 4 rounds of weekly Legacy action. Coming at you from Mox Boarding House in Ballard from Seattle, Washington. Michael Tessier, joined by Miles Wallio in the booth. And here is...
Engineered Explosives for 2.
Or, it looked like that was for 3, yeah. EE for 3 will get rid of that Sword of Fire and Ice. And now Michael only has to contend with a pair of Spell Starter Sprites. Easy peasy by comparison.
They're not too intimidating, except for the third that could be in hand.
And the Brainstorm is going to show Jordan... going to get Jordan a click.
I mean, Force and Brainstorm back on top.
And Enlightened Tutor as well in hand for Jordan. Could find him Batterskull or Engineered Explosives of his own.
Batterskull on a Spell Stutter Sprite would be really dangerous right now. Or not really dangerous, but really threatening.
Michael resolving that Jace 0. Michael didn't even really shuffle his hand that much after he drew the 3 from the Jace, just showing that he's putting back the 2. The Wallio Bros are not ones for this subtle act of subterfuge, huh?
Not really. We like to be honest in our game.
Honest and forthright.
So he's probably going to snap back the Pyroblast.
And there it is, Snapcaster. And Jordan's going to just pack it up. Too hard to contend with the Jace the Mind Sculptor, he says. That's a pack in there.
Michael had so much card advantage there, it's probably something you can't compete with.
Standstill is no longer in the Grixis Ninjutsu deck. It's just Grixis and Ninjas. Why did Michael decide to take out Standstills?
I think the deck was too greedy. So it wanted to do much, or do too much, and not have a clear focus on what you were trying to do with the deck.
Yeah. So for folks at home seeing Grixis Ninja, that sounds kind of interesting, right? Is this a deck that has some chops, or is this just a pet deck Michael loves to work on? What's your opinion on its competitiveness?
I think it's a bit of both. So in the deck, he used to run all the different ninjas. I think he cut it back down to just ninja of the deep hours. But there was the ninja that reanimates a creature in a graveyard, and then there's a ninja that lets you Thoughtseize your opponent and cast the card you Thoughtseize for free. So he's been cutting it back down and trying to get it focused and more coherent on what it can do. Moth Dust Changeling. It does not play Moth Dust Changeling. I believe it's just Ninja of the Deep Hours, and do you know what the Rat Ninja is that reanimates?
Was that one Ink Eyes? Does he still play Ink Eyes?
It might play Ink Eyes.
Okay.
So Ink Eyes is I think it's a 5/4 beater, so even if you're not reanimating anything...
We'll bring up Ink Eyes here. Ink Eyes, Servant of Oni. Here it is. 5/4. Have you died to this card a lot in your playtesting sessions?
I sadly have. The benefit of Michael's deck is the recursive use of Spell Stutter Sprite, and the advantage of elves is everything's a 1-drop. So Spell Stutter Sprite versus a bunch of 1-drops, being able to get it back and have card advantage off of the...
and he's got Fatal Pushes
Ninja
and
Beavers, yeah.
Lightning Bolts.
It's a deck designed to beat elves.
Engineered Explosives. Wow, Grixis Ninja. So if Elves takes over the meta, Grixis Ninja will be a good response.
Yes.
Got it. What does Grixis Ninja struggle against? What are the decks that it has a hard time competing against?
Enchanters would be one of them.
Jordan revealing that Force too early on his turn 1. His play is actually Scalding Tarn. And that's a kind of a big information to reveal there.
I'm wondering if that's like on purpose too.
Badlands, the follow-up from Jordan, and Michael's going to end of turn fetch. The Wallio meta is warped against elves and ninjas. It's real. That is true.
We like our tribal decks.
Yes. Enchantment Tribal is also a tribal.
Enchantment Tribal. What shocks me is we don't have Merfolk.
Hey, anytime you guys want to borrow Soldier Stompy, let me know.
Oh, I might be down for that.
Oh, excuse me, that was a plateau. Thank you there, folks at home. Baleful Strix to play from Michael, and it's going to draw him a card. Jordan is chocked full of cards there, business spells.
I'm not really sure what you want to force out of Michael's deck other than making sure your spells resolve, though. Ninjutsu can't be countered, although it can be stifled. Stacks versus Enchantress.
Chat's joking about Stacks versus Enchantress, but Stacks actually did top 8 the last Legacy Challenge.
Oh, did it? Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It's a player who regularly plays Stacks, and they're playing one of the new desert cards from Amonkhet. I believe it's called Burning Sands or something like that. No, not Burning Sands. But you can tap it, pay mana, and you can give a creature -1/-1 until end of turn, which works really well with Crucible of Worlds. So kind of an interesting build there. Stacks, of course, a longtime archetype in Legacy and Vintage.
We have someone who regularly plays Stacks at the Thursday night Legacy at Mox Bellevue. So it's kind of an interesting deck to see. So Jordan's brainstorming.
Yeah.
Mishra's Factory. I'm not sure how many of those he wants.
So if Jordan gets a Jite online, that's a lot of trouble for Michael. Pretty challenging for him to deal with, right? And Jordan's going to be brainstorm locked here. No way to shuffle, except for this Enlightened Tutor. Maybe he's setting up for that play, perhaps?
The issue is your opponent has so many cards. I'm not sure they'll allow it.
Swing from Baleful Strix will drop Jordan to 18. Michael's sitting at 19, and there is the end of turn Enlightened Tutor off that unlimited plateau. Spell Stutter Sprite from Michael. And Jordan has a bevy of answers. He could choose Force of Will, or Spell Stutter Sprite, or
Spell Stutter Sprite is 2, so he can't Spell Stutter Sprite.
Oh, right, yeah. So it's just Force of Will, because you have to pitch Force, Spell Pierce, another Force, or that Sprite.
Oh, he just lets it get countered.
Wow, interesting. Why might Jordan let that just happen in that situation?
The Mishra's Factory on top might not be too bad. And you can also click yourself to put in a threat, or click your opponent.
There it is. Click's going to get met by Pyroblast. And no fight over that either from Jordan. Click perhaps not that good against a pair of 1/1 flyers out of on Michael's board, and maybe Jordan's willing to just let it go. And there's the second factory.
Factory can allow him to get rid of the Bayful Strix and have something at a faster clock than Spell Stutter Sprite. He does have the second Stealth Sprite. I cannot speak to that.
It's an Apex Swamp from Michael. I like that swamp art.
I believe all the lands are the APAC. There's supposed to be like notable landmarks or locations, I think?
Yeah, I think so. Grim Lavamancer here from Michael. Spell Stutter Sprite.
Bolts in response to the trigger.
So it looks like that Lightning Bolt's going to resolve and go back to Jordan, who's sitting at 13. Snapcaster Mage.
Enlightened Tutor, so you can...
And here comes Enlightened Tutor. A Jite here would be gigantic.
Yeah, you trade one of the creatures and kill the other two, and then you still have your Mishra's Factories to beat down.
Oh! Jordan finds his one of Nevinyrral's Disc. We've seen this, we saw this last week, and we actually got to see him play it too, and activate it. So Disc begins tapped, but can be untapped as usual. Okay.
I think we actually opened one of these in the Eternal Masters.
You did. Nevinyrral's Disc. Let's bring up the art he's got there. I believe it's the 4th edition art. There it is, Nevinyrral's Disc. So we could see this activated, not something that we get to see too often, but now this would be twice in 2 weeks, if it does. Colligan's Command from Michael is going to stop that.
Spell Pierce. Fetch, pay 2.
Jordan with his hands in the air. What can I do against that? Great card against me in this situation. Jordan saying, well, well.
But now your opponent only has one card in hand, so that's always...
And there's a Batterskull. Not a horrible follow-up. With that Baleful Strix on board, of course, being a little roadblock.
Do you Snapcaster back the command and destroy it?
Oh, right. Yeah, Snapcaster for Kolaghan's command, and that's going to end it. Michael Wallio is going to win this with Grixis Ninja 2-1 over Jordan Isaka and his white-bordered Jeskai Bladestill deck.
True thing of beauty.
Little did we never thought we'd see Grixis Ninja on camera playing against an all-white bordered deck, finding a Nevin Nero's Disc off an Enlightened Tutor, which then got Kolaghan's commanded as the most critical turn in the game.
I don't know. It's always matches like this that like I think are super crazy because it's like you have answers in your hand, your opponent has answers in their hand. There's so much volleying back and forth, and it's like those are the moments I live for in Magic.
Yeah.
Like I think Greg top aided with Tin Fins at one of the 1Ks, and his opponent was on Death and Taxes, and it's like his opponent has Rest in Peace, puts in Containment Priest. Greg's has like Swords and Collective Brutality, and just such an interesting interaction. Like, how does everyone have answers for everything for each other? So.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So, Grixis Ninja is now 2-0 on camera.
I never thought I'd hear that.
Good record for it on camera.
Yes.
Aloran at least has 1 loss on camera. That's an established legacy deck.
This is going to be the deck that you're going to be net decking in a couple of months. The deck to beat.
Get ready, folks. Do we want to see Michael lay out the Grixis, the evolution of the new Grixis Ninja deck?
That'd be kind of interesting. Should I move? I'll give him a seat.
Okay, great. We'll have Michael lay out the deck here. Grixis Ninja winning this round 2. He's 2-0 tonight. Michael Wallio has been working on this deck for about 6 or 7 weeks, and his first variation, of course, included the card Standstill, and he called the deck Still Jitsu. So we've asked him to lay out the deck, and here it is. Of course, a lot of the fun interactions are ninjutsuing your Snapcaster Mage, ninjutsu your Baleful Strix, ninjutsu your Spell Stutter Sprite, and rebuy those comes into play effects there. There's a Night's Whisper too. Terminate, wow. And we saw that one of Counterspell. Kolaghan's command, we saw that. That's Ink Eyes, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the black ninjutsu card there. So we'll get Michael back here and hear from him about this deck. Pair of counterspells, pretty interesting. Do you want to go to Miles? No. Are you sure? Okay.
Oh man.
Michael, welcome to the booth.
Thank you for having me.
We've got Michael Wallio in the booth here with Michael Tessier, and we're going to talk about this Grixis Ninja deck.
This is Grixis Ninjas.
Chat is really excited about the deck. I think, for one, you've proven that it can win. It's just beaten Jordan Isaka on camera on his blue or red Bladestill. The only other time it's been on camera, it also won. You're 2-0 tonight. How long have you been working on this deck? Have you been working on it continuously since you first showcased it?
So, since it first got showcased, I have been working on it, and I've kind of been going back and forth on different shells. Like, the original thing was I really wanted standstills in it, but it ends up that the standstills and the ninjas kind of fill the same role. They're kind of the gimmicky cards. And if you look at this, it's really close to the Grixis pile list we've been seeing going around.
Like a check pile.
Yeah, it's very close to the check pile list. Except for I have some spell study sprites. I have a lot fewer ninjas. There's 3 ninja of the deep hours and 1 inkais. But it's with the if you kind of saw, you can Strix, swing, ninjutsu out the ninja, draw off ninja, play Strix, draw again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of trying to get as much card draw as you can. I still really want the ninjas in there. I kind of want to get the standstills back in, but I took out a few of the man lands. I still have the creeping tar pit in there, but I took out the factories.
Yeah.
Because it's very greedy on colors.
Yeah, right. Is Terminate new?
Terminate's new.
Yeah.
I put the Diabolic Edicts in the sideboard.
Okay.
Because Edict is really good for like against Reanimator or Show and Tell, where they have 1 threat. But against things like Elves or other decks, and like as you saw in this one, you really want kind of the targeted removal, especially like if he gets a Batter Skull, and then you're like, okay, I'll try to Edict you to get rid of the Stoneforge. Then he'll, be like, I'll activate my Mishra's Factory and sack my Mishra's Factory to it, so I can keep the Batter Skull on the next turn.
So you were finding it didn't hit the mark enough.
Yeah, the Edict is, if you can remove something, it's always going to remove the thing you don't want it to remove. Especially in so many decks where they could, where they might be like producing tokens or other things that they just have creatures they're willing to sack out of nowhere.
Great.
I also am trying to, looking at the check pile list, I kind of cut back on some of the Fatal Push to put in Lightning Bolts, because it gives you a little bit more flexibility with the reach.
Yeah, for sure. And I see the Knight's Whisper in there. Something that the check pile lists have also incorporated in small quantities.
Yeah, I've been trying to just increase the amount of card draw. If you don't have the board presence to get out the ninjas, you're not going to have card draw there. So having the Strix and the Knight's Whisper is really nice.
Yeah.
And then you can also see I only have 2 fairies now, and I went in on a lot of Spell Pierce. Because I want more turn 1 interaction, and then also being on the draw. The previous list could not play on the draw. It had to be on the play, otherwise you had no game whatsoever.
Awesome. Colligan's Command Blowout against Jordan both times you cast it with the Snapcaster, of course, too. How's that? That's a check pile card, too.
Yeah, like I said, this is really based off check pile now. It's kind of trying to find the different shells and see how it works, and then kind of evolve it from there.
So the biggest difference, essentially, instead of cards like Young Pyromancer, True Name Nemesis, Dak Faden, you're generating card advantage with Ninja the Deep Hours, Ink Eyes, and then you also have access, I guess, to Spellstutter Sprite. Is that
Spellstutter Sprite, Snapcaster Mage?
Yeah.
Being able to buy back your Snapcaster Mages multiple times.
Yeah.
People were like, okay, I'm going to Colligan's Command, get back my Snapcaster, my Colligan's Command again. But with this, it's like, I have multiple ways to get the Snapcaster effect back, especially with the ninjas.
Yeah.
In one of the previous games, I actually had Baleful Strix and Snapcaster out. I swung in, and then I activated Ninjutsu to get both back, the Baleful Strix and the Snapcaster. I was holding priority to do that, because you can get it back off the same ninja. So I was doing so it's really about kind of just getting as much card advantage as you kind of can.
Someone just grabbing your lands off the table, but notably it was Miles Wallio, your bro, the Wallio Bros, in the house tonight. Miles is doing a great job in his first night casting here.
That's good. Yeah. I was kind of worried.
Yeah. Okay, any other comments about Grixis Ninja here?
Oh man. I just want to work the standstills back.
Yeah.
The ninja still has. It sounds like it's such a cooler name.
Yeah. That's cool.
And yes, the edict is in the side. So against lands, I definitely want the edict more.
Okay.
But sorry, there was a question on there.
Yeah.
But the thing was, in so many matchups, edict felt very dead.
So, is this a possibility for you for the Invitational?
I can't confirm what I'm going to play for the Invitational. We're planning on doing a lot of play testing.
Okay. Yeah.
As well as just trying to make it to more events, because my brother and I can play test all the time, but
Right.
we know each other's play styles, so it kind of gets a little bit.
Yeah, he was saying that your meta, your bro meta is kind of inbred now at this point.
Yeah, like when we get paired in tournaments, I'll take a completely different line just because I know what he's on and I know how he's going to respond.
Whoa, that's
So
awesome. That is awesome.
We know each other a little too well for it.
Cool. Well, Michael, thanks for joining us in the booth. Thanks for talking about Grixis Ninja.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on here. And we'll bring Miles back in the booth here. Let's take a look at our metagame for tonight again. We've got